Hi, hi, hi. We're gonna give it a couple more seconds to let folks get in the room. In the meantime, give me a second. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm great. You know, just hanging out with Natasha, one of my favorite things. So I'm good.
Okay, well, I am Natasha Hastings. If you're new here, if you don't know, I'm the 400 Meter Diva. This is my channel. I am joined tonight by new panelist. We're introducing something new tonight. Corey, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Corey, the Corey Monster, no diva. I run the 400 hurdles. I'm a single mother of Kobu Carter. Why do you look like that?
Wait a minute. So apparently there's two separate lives going on right now. I don't know how this is happening. Ay, ay, ay. What's
What did you
happening?
do, Natasha?
I
You
don't
were in charge.
know.
Also, how come I can't see the comments like last time?
Because I haven't populated. I switched the link? No, I didn't. What do you mean? What is going on? Okay, so
I'm gonna look at this YouTube. What you did.
what happened? I got greedy for views. Apparently so. Well, let's try and make sure everyone makes it here. Um, okay. Thank you. My moderator Natalie said she shared the other. Corey, you can't we can hear the feedback from
I know. I was muting it. I was muting it.
the one on my IG story leads us somewhere else. Oh no, that's not good. Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Well, guys, keep sharing and liking this video, and hopefully we'll redirect everyone here. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know how to fix that. So sorry. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay.
Natasha.
Thank you, TC Bell. Yes, my moderator has informed me that there are two separate lives, and I don't even know how to. I don't know how to fix it. But thank you guys for joining us. So before we get started, Corey and I
I would
had
like,
this, huh?
before we get started, I would like to blame you for all technical difficulties. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But I stand beside her.
Blame received. I don't know nothing about technology, and I be trying to finesse the thing. So sorry, my apologies. It's all my fault. Um, but Corey and I had this bright idea to give our 2 cents on the meets for the rest of the summer. Um, Especially the games in Tokyo. We'll have to navigate how we can talk about that, but we're gonna give our reactions, responses. Um, we're gonna start off tonight with the trials that were so exciting, so everything. We can talk a little bit about my experience there. Corey's gonna share again why she wasn't there. Um, and then, yeah, we'll just kind of get into things. Of course, we're always down for comments, questions, support, whatever. We're here to have a good time.
Okay. I'm excited.
Are you? Are you
Always.
are
Okay.
you guys interested in hearing our takes on the rest of the summer league, the summer circuit? Nah, be real, don't sugarcoat it. What are we gonna sugarcoat?
Okay. I can.
Okay. So I'll go. You want to go first, or you want me to go first? I can go first.
I mean, you can go first. You went to the trials.
Okay.
I just watched them.
So I am, as you can see, home from Eugene. I think just about everyone who was in Eugene is probably home by now. I will be posting it turned out to be a video diary more than a vlog, but I will be posting that probably later on this week or sometime next week. The editing thing is like overwhelming me. Um, so that'll be up. But overall, honestly, of course, or obviously rather, disappointed that I won't be in Tokyo. But I'm very pleased with the fact that like I went out and like gave it my all. Um, it's just there were a number of things that now in hindsight I'm kind of like, maybe we could have did this, maybe we could have did that. But honestly, my execution of my prelim and semi round, I was like, there really wasn't anything that I could have done differently. I came off the turn, the second turn that is, for the 400, and I was like, kind of talking mess, like, oh yeah, we're in a good position. And then the last 80 just wasn't there, which is weird because it wasn't like I died. I wasn't tired. It was like I just went for something that wasn't there.
I hate when you go in your bag of tricks and you're like, I ain't got my finish. Like, I swear I
Yeah.
put it here
Literally.
somewhere.
Literally. And it
But
was,
also,
again, it wasn't like I was tired or I died or it just, I was just
I also would say that your semi was stacked. There was two different semis going
two
on,
different semis.
and that affects your final. Like if the amount of energy you have to exert in that semi, because
Totally. I'm not sure about Diamond League meets, but I am competing. I am going to finish out the summer season. Thank you, Todd Lone. Thank you, thank you. Oh, Jay Wilson, thank you for the super sticker.
okay.
My moderator putting it out there how you can support. Natasha was in the death semi.
No, for real. And I just feel like there are certain, I was gonna say certain, but it's like all the races in the US, it's like stacked.
Mm-hmm.
But 400, y'all were out there running.
We were out there running for sure. For sure. And you know, it sucked to watch the 400 finals, but I was cheering on Allison and Quinera. Obviously, there's like a special connection. Seeing the mommies do it, and it was just like another like, oh, like this really can be done. And it was just dope to see them go out there and finish it, you know. And then of course what Allison then finished off with launching her shoe line, and just, you know, it was just a mommy, awesome mommy moment.
Yeah.
All right, Corey, your turn.
Yeah, I wasn't at trials because I've just been struggling with a chronic Achilles injury, and it's kind of difficult to run the hurdles with a very tight, inflamed Achilles, because being able to like stretch and then land after the hurdle is like really painful. And I like, for me, like I'm okay with pain. I was just kind of like, I will just thug this out. But my coach really was like, I'm gonna take you to the back and just, you know, lay you down because you ain't going to trials, because he was just like, there's no point of you going out on this track and limping around. Like he was just like, and to me, it was hard because I'd have days in training where I'm like, oh, like, you're you. I'm me. Like, I'm running well. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I can't walk. All right. And like, I was trying to work myself up to like, okay, if I can get 2 days of like solid work in a row, like, I'm just gonna figure it out. But the issue with trials is like, you have to be able to like come back 3 days in a row. And I was just like, some days I can't even put together 2 hurdles. Which is like really hard when your body just like fails you. And I'm just like, I invest so much in you for you to just bail out when I need you the most. So yeah, it was hard to just watch those girls. It was fun to watch them make history, but it's like, I want to be in the mix. Like I want to participate, and like, you know, I had this goal for years, 5 years, and to not be able to like go after it was heartbreaking. So she, she is in a little light depression, but I'm okay.
I don't like when you
But I
say
feel like
how
it's
effort.
understandable. But yeah, so the good thing is like I'm still a fan of track and field, so it's still like the trials was still a fun experience to me, even though like the trials in itself, I feel is the most like emotional roller coaster of an event because it's either everyone's best day of your it's like three people's best day of their life and everyone else's worst day of their life, and there's no the only thing you're trying to do is make that team. And I feel like it's just like so emotion filled of an event. Yeah, it trials is a doozy, but we're gonna talk about it. You ready to get in to this?
Yeah, I guess let's get into it. So let me pull
Um,
up. Go ahead.
well, I wasn't the only athlete that wasn't at trials. Um, broke my heart to see Michelle Carter, my play cousin, not participating because like she got me into shot put. Like I remember being Michelle. Michelle always makes fun of me because the first time I ever met Michelle, I was like, oh my gosh. I like when I first started track, my dad was like, "There's this black girl. Her last name is Carter. She be throwing that shot put," and she's like the reason I started watching shot. And I just feel like she's been a constant on Team USA. Whenever, like, I don't know if most people know this, we vote for our captains, and every time the men's out here giving speeches, we're gonna vote. Everyone's like, so it's Michelle Carter,
Right.
like
we don't even need to know who she's running against.
we don't even we don't discuss it. Everyone's like Michelle.
Yeah.
She's like mom. So that was hard to see for me. Steeplechase was missing some heavy hitters. Evan Jager, he's the American record holder. He also has an Achilles issue. And Colleen Quigley, I don't remember what her injury was, but Colleen.
Yeah, I don't remember what her injury was either, but I saw her post like a few days before like people started traveling out that she wasn't going to be able to make it.
And then the hurdles like Nia. But I'm not even stressed about it because Nia said, I'm going to have this baby be the small for this baby line.
Yeah.
And
Nia's the one who had me fooled.
And Nia stays being like, so I'm gonna drop this baby and go win this medal. Like, it's part of her training cycle at this point. Like,
for some people it is though, because you do get a dose of hormones, but if you don't know how to get your body back right, like
yeah,
because even my chiropractor that I only see at like the major championships, or I shouldn't say I only see. Most years I would go see him in Arizona a couple weeks at a time throughout the season, but mom life, I couldn't just pick up and go like that. And so when I finally saw him, he was like, "Man, we probably should have had this baby sooner because like your hips are positioned better." He was like, "I think the baby passing through kind of like moved your hips." And then he was like, he was even able to.
way out, Mom. I got
He was like, "I'm even able to move your hips better." So, yeah, we hated to not see Michelle there. Michelle kind of let me know a few days before. She kept that real hush hush. That, or I shouldn't say she kept it real hush hush. I'm not sure really how long she knew that she wasn't going to be there, but I spoke to her the day that she had surgery, and she let me know like, yeah, I'm not going to be there, but we will see her next year in Eugene.
And then in the hurdles, Georgiana wasn't in there either. Georgiana Moline. And then I was sad mainly because I love looking at his cheekbones. Kron Clement was missed. Look. Quran Clement is made out of like 99% Hershey Kisses. Like that's a good-looking man.
He is fine.
Like, and a smile.
He is fine. He is fine.
Yeah,
Austin, we are definitely going to talk about the changing of the guard and like looking at the top 3 finishes in all of the events. Like, yeah. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for like my generation. I was like, do we need to plan like a pity travel trip or something? Because like these youngins kicked us out.
Now you know how the people before you felt, Natasha.
All right, fair.
Also, you cannot deny good bone structure. Shout out to Natasha's
Fair,
bone.
fair, fair. And I saw another comment. We will touch on this as well. The starting blocks versus the false starts. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Who else were we missing?
Tori Bowie. I have no idea. I can't give you any information on that, but I love me some Frentorish, okay? And
who?
Her real name is Frentorish, and that is my favorite fact that I know.
Count on you to know that.
I read it in an article once, and I was like, I will never forget this.
Count on you to know that. Count on you to know that.
You know, a little fun fact. Yeah, because I feel like Tori is just so talented as an athlete in the fact that she can jump, she can sprint, like she can model. No pity.
That is on Wikipedia. If I were in the other semi, might I get to the final? I don't know. But you know what? I ran 52 though. I don't know if 52 was gonna make the final. And honestly, like I looked up at that 52 and I was like, "Oh, girl, yeah, you definitely got to run this summer. We're not ending on that. We are definitely not doing that. Your times were coming down, and I just feel like I just ran out of time. And the trials were actually a little bit earlier than they usually are, and so I really feel like I missed out on having that extra couple of weeks to like just train before going into trials. But you know, everybody was chasing these standards going into trials, and you know,
yeah. And I just feel like it's a different type of strength to be able to run one good 400 as opposed to 3 in a row.
Yeah. 51 made the relay team, but not the open 400. All right, guys. We got 59 of y'all in here. Thank you. Let's keep sharing and liking so we can get some more people in here. I understand that there's 2 feeds going on. I hope everybody's here. Sorry for the mishap. I don't even know how to fix it, but anyway.
Sorry for that feed.
So let's talk about the ugly. Let's talk about, you know, I'm gonna let you do most of the talking because I don't really like some of these topics. But you know,
the topics?
They have to be discussed.
She said, "I'm gonna let you just embarrass yourself for it. It's fine."
No, not embarrass yourself, but hi, Laura.
What do you want to start with?
What do I want to start with? I don't know. All of these are such. Well, let's kind of go in order then. I guess let's start with Shelby Houlihan.
Like I said, baby, we started off with drama. The trials haven't even started yet, and it's already popping off.
Right.
And here's what I'm going to say. Because I am not USADA, and it is not my job to figure out who is doping, who is not. All right? I don't have any opinion on what is going on that front. What I will say is that I would like USA Track and Field to keep that same energy. If you are letting people run under protest, let them run under protest. But that means Christian Coleman should be able to run under protest when he is appealing. It means
is he currently appealing?
I don't know, but if he was, I just feel like
Oh wait, y'all,
Was
we
he
got
able
70
to
people in here. Let's see if we can get it up to 100. Keep bringing the folks in here. Like, share, do the things.
do the tweets, the Twitter?
Yes.
But
Go.
like when he was suspended, was he allowed to run at a protest?
I don't know. I don't know. What I'm also hearing is the difference is in where the ban is coming from. And supposedly, not supposedly, Shelby's ban is coming from the AIU versus USADA.
And that's my other issue. Okay, so as an athlete, you go through USADA training. Like every year, you have to like go through training, learn the rules and regulations. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there are two separate entities that are testing you, and a lot of the rules align, but still coming to test you, so you don't know. Is that not true?
Girl, your feed went out, so I don't even know what you said.
What I was saying is that like there are two different entities that are testing you
Yeah.
when you are right, and not all of their rules and regulations and their standards align, right?
Right.
And I feel like it puts a burden on the athlete because one, you don't know who is coming to test you, so you never know like, okay, we're doing this set of rules, that set of rules, and like I'm confused by it sometimes when I'm like, I don't, does that make sense? And I just feel like there needs to be, you guys are testing the same athletes for the same sport. Like there should be cohesion among, like y'all need to fall in line together so it makes it easier for the athletes. And then therefore, like, I feel like it'd just be easier for everyone if everyone was on the same page. I'm just a big stick. I don't care what the rules are. I just would like them to be the same for everyone.
To be the rules and be the same across the board. I agree. I want to talk about this comment. I speculate that Shelby was microdosing and got caught. I like Shelby, but why was Brianna McNeil allowed to run? She missed all them damn tests. So I want to break this down as far as we can without taking too much time. Because I have questions about this too. And questions, when I say I have questions in terms of like the length of the ban for missing tests versus the length of a ban for actually testing positive, where the length of a ban for missing tests is longer than the length of a ban for a positive test. The microdosing thing, I don't really know about, but also to my understanding, what was found in Shelby's system is not something that would be necessarily performance enhancing for her event. So that in itself is another argument of like, is the AIU, WADA, USADA, like, are you really doing your job or are you just making examples of athletes? So that argument, I don't really know. But I do have questions, or I don't know if question is the right word, but like the whole ban thing. I was having this conversation the other day where, does it make sense that someone who missed tests has a longer ban than someone who has not missed tests? I mean, who has tested positive. And so, like, for instance, mentioning the what was it, Nandrolone or something like that?
I don't know how to say it.
I don't
And I
know.
love.
But okay, let's say someone tested positive for a stimulant, they get 6 months, as opposed to someone who's missed 3 tests, right? My opinion on why the ban would be longer, and I think that I'm probably biased in this, in that I also come from the generation where once upon a time, a missed test was a positive test, and you didn't get the opportunity to miss 3 tests before you serve a ban. And so the way that the test,
Not my spiritual self.
so
Although
this
I
is,
only missed one test in my whole career.
me
And Coach
too.
Post
And I thought like,
days like that was so irresponsible.
oh my God, I was so hard on myself for missing my test. And like, my agent was like, all right, Natasha, calm down. You get 3. Just make sure you stay on top of your whereabouts from here. But I think we have to take it a step further to think about what it means when you miss 3 tests in a year, right? Because the idea is that Number one, you have to give an hour out of the day that you're available, right? That no matter what, this is where I am. If you show up and I'm not there, that is what actually strikes you as a missed test, right? If they show up outside of that hour, they don't necessarily have to report that you missed this test. Now, if it happens over and over that you've missed a test outside of the hour, then there's something with your whereabouts filings, and that's what's considered a whereabouts failure. Let me finish,
Can I ask
Corey.
you a question?
Let me
Can I ask you a quick
finish.
question?
What?
Okay. What time is your hour?
6 to 7 a.m. every morning because I know my tail is in bed. Like, you should make your hour a time of day that you know where you are going to be.
Like, for people who have their hour at 8 p.m., 4:30, man,
huh?
If you don't mine at 5,
like, I want you to ring my doorbell when I have to pee first thing in the morning. Like, yeah, come on, don't even put your stuff down. Let's just go in the bathroom one time. Like, so there's that, right? So let me take it a step further, right? Because not last summer, but summer before last, YouTube will populate, these devices listen to us. They see you watch track, blah, blah, blah. I came across I guess it was like a docu-series of athletes who have tested positive, and they're telling their stories. And of course, who did they get to comment? Victor Conti. Anybody that doesn't know who Victor Conti is, Victor Conti was at the center of the Balco bust in 2006, 7-ish. And he was the mastermind behind athletes like Tim Montgomery, Marion Jones, Kelly White, their doping. He was the doctor that designed their drugs and their whole program, their whole doping program. And Victor Conti himself commented saying that the current testing protocol is actually foolish, and it gives the athletes more leeway to actually dope because you're allowed 3 missed tests in a 12-month calendar year, right? So you're given the leeway to, all right, I'm going to dope up for however long, right? Just take the chance that I'm going to miss these 2 tests. And then I know that I can't miss this last one. And here's the thing about doping, right? Because everybody's like, oh, so-and-so didn't test positive. The dopes don't have to be in your system for you to run fast. You just have to do the work with it in your system. Because once it's out of your system, you've done the work. So you can perform off of the work that you've done that the dope allowed you to do. Right?
I don't know.
So let me bring it on back to the argument that why does an athlete get a longer ban for missing 3 tests in a calendar year as opposed to someone who actually tested positive? Because essentially, if you've missed three, and I mean, this is a part of our job. Doing your whereabouts it's a part of signing up to do the job. Then the assumption is that you were doing something that you shouldn't have been doing and hiding something because you had 3 opportunities to pee in this cup or give blood that you've missed, and who knows what you were doing in that time span. So I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger, but I just had to ponder on that because I did feel like, well, yeah, like why would a person that's only missed tests but hasn't tested positive get a longer ban? But then when I heard Victor Conti's comments on, Kelly White, and, I was like, that's food for thought.
That makes a lot of sense too. I never even thought of it that way because I'm a forgetful person. I might have only had 1 missed test in my whole career, but like there have been times I'm like, yo, I've been in this whole other country. Let me text you, Sada, real quick.
Like on the plane about to take off, like, oh, I'm going such and such. I don't have my address right now, but as soon as I land and get the address, I will let you know. Yeah.
I'm on the plane taking off, and I'm like, oh, snaps, Sada. But so like I'm like, I can see how I can miss, but I also know that like I am missing 3 tests.
Right. Not in a calendar, not in 12 months. 1, okay. That should be your warning. Like, let me get my ish together and make sure that my whereabouts are accurate.
I also got a text from someone in the live, a reputable source who said not to quote them, and they said that Shelby didn't have an active appeal before trials. She tried to start the process after the judgment, but the timing of the appeal being open and accepted did not happen before competition. So because she didn't have an active appeal, that's why they denied it. That makes sense.
Okay. I see people in the comments understand where I'm going now with Jose Canseco is snitching because he's finished. God. But anyway, I see people, I guess get my drift. I had to sit with that because I honestly was kind of like, why would you serve a longer ban than, someone who tested positive? But essentially you've evaded 3 tests over the course of a calendar year. So I've got to assume that you were doing something.
Let me find out. Natasha is breaking it down so it will forever be broke. All right.
But again, I came from the generation where if you missed a test, it was a positive test. So that's another reason why I kind of have this frustration that, like, how dare you miss 3 tests? Because once upon a time, if you missed one, that was it. It was a 2-year ban, no questions asked. Done, period. So...
Yeah. Because in the back of my day, we had a mail in our whereabouts.
And let me tell you something. I've taken a drug test in Target. I've taken a drug test in the gas station halfway between Columbia, South Carolina, and Atlanta on the I-20. These drug testers, they want to get your sample. So even if you're not exactly where you say you are, like, hey, I just ran to the mall real quick. Can you meet me at such and such? Like, they will do it. So...
Hey, I'm at Petco with my baby. He's at the hospital. He's at the vet. Like, I'm coming to you, but it's like,
or can you come to me? They'll come to you.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
But the issue is when you're like my one missed test. I was at home during my hour, but I forgot to update my whereabouts because I got on a plane, and I was like, technically, I'm on this plane while you were there. Mm-hmm. But I was at home awake during my hour, and I was like, I really should appeal this. I was like, it's fine because it's like,
yeah,
y'all gonna know I was not in town, but I was at home during my hour.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about these blocks.
Let us talk about the blocks.
Supersonic blocks.
My first thought or question is, could I handle that? Because let me tell you something. When there's a false start in my race, my first thought is, I could be halfway through this ish.
Also, I feel like it's different in our event because I feel like as people who run the 400 hurdles, like, there's understanding, like, we are doing a lot. I don't have time to play games with you. Like, we're not doing, like, keep your little butt in these blocks and then we gonna go. Like, we don't have time for all this extra stuff like these short sprinters do. So to see that happen in the 400 hurdles, I was like, bruh. And then when it came to the men's 110 hurdles, like, you're going over this hurdle multiple times and having to slam on these brakes. Like, you can get hurt trying to go over. I had a teammate who got hurt, not on a false start, but just like doing her little block start, and they didn't push down hurdle 3. And so she tried to like jump over it and slow down at the same time and like rolled her ankle. It's dangerous to just keep doing that over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, especially when your intent is to go over 10 hurdles, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to be like, I'm in the blocks and just doing like 1 hurdle, you know?
Yeah. I think it's kind of 84 people. Y'all keep sharing and liking. Let's get it to 100. I've never had 100 people in here, Corey. I've never had 84 people in here. You breaking records, girl. Come on. Come show them a little bit more shoulder. That might bring some more folks in here. I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
These shoulders, this clavicle.
Oh my goodness. Tough Gone 26. The anti-doping agencies admit that they only catch about 1% of all cheaters. That is, when I think about retirement, one of the many reasons why I'm like, okay, yeah, now that made me think about it. I'm like torn, right? Or I don't know that I'm torn, but technology is always improving itself, and there's always like, how can we improve the sport? And so the one thing being these sensors on the blocks to like, take away the human error that someone is false starting, right? And a lot of the issue was like like I saw with my own eyes Michael Cherry in the 400 shaking in the blocks because he was nervous. Like I saw
Yeah.
it with my own eyes because I was sitting at the start of the 400 and I was like, the starter would say set and I could see him shaking. I was like, ooh, that boy is nervous. But I know what that feeling is, right? Is too, right? But
Yeah.
the starter has on headphones that are triggered by the pads on the blocks. And it's because he's shaking, it appears to the blocks that, someone's false started. But in actuality, homeboy was just a little nervous. Same thing with Baby
Yeah.
Grant in the Baby Holloway in the hurdles. Like he was just the way he was setting, like it was setting off the pads on the blocks. So it's kind of that cross between, and Atto was kind of saying it on the broadcast that like, the starter has to realize what's going on as opposed to continually calling the race back because the sound is going off in his ear. So I don't know. I don't know. It's something that was made to benefit the sport, but was it a hindrance?
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely a hindrance. And I also feel like college me would have been setting that thing off because one of the reasons I have one of the worst starts in the game. She has a great finish. But my reaction time was always terrible. And I realized it was because when I would get up in the blocks, I would rock back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I would be setting the blocks off in college because I would consistently be putting pressure on, which is not what you want to do. It's like I'd have to once the gun went off, but I fixed that. But
well, that was the issue with Anna Cockrell in her semifinal, that the starter went over to her and said, "Hey, when you get in set," because I think what she was doing was setting and then coming down a little bit. Yeah. But it wasn't that she was false starting. It was just that, but it was happening so fast that the starter could tell that it's like, no, that's how you set. However, it's messing me up. Yeah. So
and I feel like now I lost my train of thought.
We gonna be doing that all night.
Oh yeah. Oh, here it is. How like what am I supposed to do at the Olympic trials to change my form in the blocks? This is why I'm not okay. Now, and if you have watched USC, how their block routine is so like regimented and it's so routine. You want me to change my block start at the Olympic trials? The thing that has got me like NCAA championship in the moment, sir. You won't get the same thing every time because I've been doing the same thing every time. I don't know how you expect me to change that. Like,
yeah.
And like feel comfortable being like, okay, like I've gotten the blocks all this time, and now at the biggest race of my life, y'all want me to switch something up at the race.
Yeah.
So I'm setting off these alarms again.
I'm gonna do it on purpose. But let's give the athletes credit. They handled it with grace, and there were still some awesome performances. But I can see how easily it is to throw an athlete off their game by and we also haven't even gotten into how difficult it is to be in that position. Like I can't tell you how many photo shoots I've been on and they're like, can you give us that pose? And I'm like, I can, but you better have your camera right, because if it's done right, it's not a comfortable position. So to have to go into that position 5 and 6 times before your race actually goes off at the Olympic trials.
And you can't tell me after like the third start, I'm not on the blocks like fingertips just shaking.
Yeah, totally. Like, thanks, Jay Wilson. I appreciate it.
Getting it out.
I saw some comments about Aaliyah, and Aaliyah is one of the topics that we did want to get into. I can't. I'm so behind in the comments now, so let's just get into it. Guys, keep sharing. Oh, 92! 8 more. Let's get us to 100. Keep sharing, keep liking.
That's my birth year, so come on, 92. Um, yeah, and I'm a Leah Hobbs fan. So it was sad to see her, and it was just like I
I
feel
saw her
like,
come back to the warm up area and she was like boo-hooing, and like
of
I
course you
was
are.
warming up for my semi, so I couldn't really. I was like, I knew something was wrong, and it wasn't until after the fact and when I saw her in the final that I started getting the tea on it. But yeah,
Because at some point, like, you have to just use common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some
hmm
point, yeah, like, you've been if you're an official at the Olympic trials, you've been an official for some time. You know what a false start looks like.
yeah,
And, like, I just feel like it wasn't as, when I was watching the replays, it wasn't as if someone, like, got to jump out. Like, it was like, oh, this person got to step on the field. Like, clearly, that's a false start.
yeah.
It's like, oh, clearly there's something going on with the calibration of these blocks.
Right. Also, Atto pointed out too that there was like I think it was the short hurdles with Baby Holloway that like they showed the reaction time, and like there's no way that his reaction time could have been that fast, you know? So it's even that where it's like, come on, guys, like you've been a starter, an official for how long? Like, you know, you know.
Yeah.
Um, shouldn't they at least have two shots at a false start? First one is a warning, and the second one. So that used to be the rule, and ironically enough, the one and done rule was put in place for the exact reason why we ended up with 5 and 6 false starts, because you know we're on TV time. Then the athletes, we time our warm-ups down to the minute, to our call room time, to how long we're in the call room, to being taken out onto the track. It throws everything off. So it's kind of ironic that like the one start rule was started for that reason, and then now the censors created a whole nother situation that brought us right on back to why the rule was created in the first place.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I understand the concept, but I'm like, who really is that great at timing it out, these
No,
starts, you
no,
know?
no. There are people that are. There are.
Maybe it's me because I have a terrible start. Because I'm
Ato
like,
Bolden has said it himself that there is a race in his career. I want to say it's his 200 PB that he knows for a fact that he got a flyer. There are people that are good at timing the gun, like, and
I ain't
and
gonna risk it. I ain't gonna risk it like that.
I
Like,
ain't gonna risk it either. But there, if you have two chances, right, you'd be more willing to
yeah.
risk it.
And I also feel like the difference is I run a race where it's
It counts, but not really. You can make up for it.
as someone who's like, oh, like it's egregious. The
Right.
like difference between me and the rest of the field getting out, and I'll be like, all right, I'll make it back. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just couldn't imagine.
Thank you for sharing. Let's keep sharing. We're at 97, almost at 100.
Dang, dang.
Um, all right, let's keep it moving.
Do you want to talk about these throws? These
Yeah, let's
throws?
get into the throws. Let's get into the throws.
Because
Which one we starting
you
with?
want to start
I'm gonna let you
before the
take the wheel
hammer.
on this one. I'm gonna let you take the wheel.
Okay, so let's start with discus. First of all, before we get into the controversy with discus, I just need to shout out my training partner. She's technically not my training partner. I don't train with throws, but she's my daughter, Val. Because Val was like, look, I'm just gonna be 20 feet ahead of second place, like over 20. I said, she said an Olympic trials record, and I just was like, oh, she in a whole different league right now. But the controversy with
Wait, before you go, I wanna acknowledge Dexter's comment here because I think this is so on point. The false start was suspect because they brought her back to run in the finals. They know they were wrong, but by then she was emotionally drained. And I just
yeah,
I wanna stay here because just highlight this comment because we put in a lot of work to be on that stage, and part of that work is managing your emotions through the trials. And I think this comment is so on point that, like, by the time she got on the line for that final, yes, emotions, believe it or not, take a lot out of your physical performance. So I just
For
wanted
sure.
to highlight that. Thank you for that, Dexter. Sorry, Corey, go back.
So the controversy of the discus is that let me look at the results so I get things right. But basically, I'm sorry. Someone just texted me talk about saying that someone tried to say them kicking Aaliyah out of the 100 during Pride Month was homophobic, and I
saw that comment, but I'm not. 102 people in here! Yeah! Keep sharing and liking.
bro, I'm weak. That took me out.
I saw that. I saw that comment.
Oh,
and I think I know
that
who's
was funny
texting
to
you.
me. Okay. So, Whitney Ashley, who I love, she got 5th at the Olympic trials.
Sean Benton said we need
to have the Olympic standard.
Oh
no! I did no shoulder. Natasha was doing puffy shoulder, so I was like
balanced each other out.
So Whitney got 5th, but she's the only one with the Olympic standard. However, they said we're not taking Whitney. Now, historically, that would mean that Whitney was on the team because she has the standard. They said we're not going to take you, Whitney. We are going to take the woman with the higher world ranking who beat you at the Olympic trials. And Whitney's thing was just like, one, no one knew that was how they were determining the team. And two, what is the point of the Olympic standard if it goes off of world rankings? And to add to that, there's two things. I'm gonna be consistent with this is the rules should be the rules should be the rules. Like, let everyone know how to make this team so everyone knows how to make this team. Second of all, we in COVID, like, we still in a Papa John's panoramic, Panasonic, Papa Bear. And so to have the determining factor be world rankings in a time when it's like, your state might say you can't leave this house, in a time where are you going to like, if you can't go to track meet, where can you go? There are no track meets to go to. And it's like, hey, it's going to come down. It may not come down to who's the best athlete. It's who's most willing to risk their life to go to these meets. Like, I just feel like this was not the year to
play around
with based off world rankings. Like, we're in a whole Pantene Pro V. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but the part that I'm still confused about is that she placed 5th. And
yes,
I'm confused about it because I understand all the things that you're saying, but I come from an event where being top 3, we ain't got nothing to talk about. So I don't quite, I understand, but I don't quite understand.
Like, I guess the thing is, because, well, somebody,
y'all cutting up in this chat. Not a Pantene Pro V. Is that shampoo line still around?
It is. It's 2021 and it is taking us out. I agree. Like, here's the thing. I come from the idea of, like, don't give them an opportunity to play you.
That.
Like, make it to where they look stupid not to take you.
Mm-hmm.
I am never going to put my life in the hands of a technicality.
All right. That part.
However, I can understand where you're coming from if it's like any other year I would have made the team. And it's more of like, I just want consistency from our organization. Because in the same way is like how you said you're in an event where top three you got to talk about. Usually it's top six you ain't got nothing to talk about. And sometimes they'd be like, well, we just grabbing people from wherever and
From the
putting them on the field.
200. Now he's from the 400 hurdles.
Which is like understandable because.
Yeah, it's still a 400.
But.
And I would like to point out that Sydney ran what I ran in my first round of the 400. I called my mom and I was like, because by the way, everyone is trying to convince me into running another season, which we'll talk about that on another video. But I called my mom and was like, so you realize, homegirl.
And you know the math is to find out her 400 time?
No, I don't.
So it's usually, depending on your technique, it's 2.5 to 3 seconds of difference.
Listen. Let me change the subject. Just move on. Just move on.
So yeah, I just like here. I am. It's not my
just
job.
Move on. Let me go back to Whitney.
I'm going back to this because I'm just. What I would like to wrap it up with saying, it is not my job to decide who is on a team.
Corey, your Wi-Fi.
Facet. Look, we are trying the best we can.
We're doing the best we can.
Next time,
what we have.
And then, okay, why don't you get into the hammer throw?
Have we put a bow on Whitney? Do we have an understanding of like what's going on? I mean, but let's also say this because we are in a, I can't say it as eloquently as Corey say, a Panini, a Pantene Pro V, a Pangea, all of the above. Whitney does still have to be ready to go because
yes,
we are in a Panini. If someone tests positive due to COVID, they can't go into the village. So I believe that there is some protocol in place for, if an alternate has to go in. So, I mean,
this is the year to be an alternate. I'm telling you, this is the year to actually have hope.
Yeah.
So in 2016, when I got fourth, I was like,
but I do agree. I think largely what the issue is I think that there are standards from the IOC. There are so many different rulings and powers that be in place that it becomes confusing. And I genuinely, even like lumping this in with the whole anti-doping situation, I don't know the solution to it because the truth of the matter is like our USADA is a federal run entity. So you're talking about the United States government, you're talking about Nigeria's government, you're talking about Great Britain's government, all these different governments, and then the AIU that, like, it plainly put, everybody should be on the same page, right? And everybody should be operating from one set of rules so that there's consistency across the board. But I think what ends up happening is this pissing match and this power trip and like trying to have control that unfortunately who ends up suffering is the athlete.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
But I wonder how this will ever be rectified when you're dealing with so many chefs in the kitchen. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, apparently in regards to Whitney, they stated that world rankings can allow the athlete to go without the qualifier, which they announced in November, but it was not well addressed. All right. Thank you, Austin. All right. So we're going to move on to Gwen Berry in the hammer, who Gwen placed third, correct? Oh, 111 people in here. Come on, y'all. I love y'all so much. Keep sharing and liking. I think we had 112, but somebody left. Come on, get back in here.
Come on, 112, peaches and cream. Let me stop. Why am I like this?
So I'm interested. Let us know down in the chat, first of all, how you feel about athletes protesting. I'm interested for a number of reasons. I first and foremost have a different perspective than most athletes on the whole protest thing, because last year during, the start of the BLM protests. Sorry guys, I have my weighted blanket across my lap. So I had to get comfortable. We had a town hall with the CEO of the USOPC. Sorry, the acronyms changed, so I have to get used to saying it. But and then there's the whole.
Speaking of acronyms changing, can I ask you a question?
I'm afraid.
Who is Wanda?
In the chat?
No, Wanda Diamond League. I was like, who in the world is Wanda?
Wait, what?
You know how the Diamond League's name is now like the Wanda Diamond League?
I did not know that.
I'm like, who is Wanda?
Who is Wanda? Who is Wanda? Girl, you should tell me something.
Diamond League Athletics, their little IG. Wanda Diamond League. I want to know if you guys have answers I feel like I'm moving the wrong way. If you have answers as to who is Wanda, let me know.
I got distracted by this. Oh, World Athletics National Diamond Association. Wanda.
What is
Boom. Boom. Okay.
I said, who in the cosmos of Wanda?
Oh.
You learn something new every day.
You just made that up. I'm done.
I'm gonna go this live. Good night.
I instantly just got hot. Wanda Group is the sponsor. Okay.
Who is Wanda?
All right. Ay. Okay, let's put Claudette on timeout, okay? Because I was over here like, oh, World Athletics.
Like, you dumb.
Like, yes, totally.
That makes sense. Like, no.
Queen, hey girl. Queen said she fell all the way out. Listen, I am dead.
That was like dead. Me. That was a good one.
It was a good one. Definitely over here eating it up like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So let me learn my little
acronym. Wanda is the sponsor.
And I was like, I know my track history. I was like, what? Like,
who is Wanda?
All right, sorry.
Okay.
You had a town hall.
I don't even know what was I talking about? Oh, the protesting thing.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. So, I watch The View basically every day, and Gwen has made headlines, and of course Meghan McCain had her views on disrespecting the national anthem. I think the point that is missed, and Sarah Haynes made this point that, like, as a child, I think we all, when we start to dream about going to the Olympics, we dream about hearing the national anthem in our honor. But as you become older and understand the lyrics of the national anthem, as a person of color, it hits different. And so we come from a country that you are allowed to protest and speak truth to power. And if you got a problem with it, you just as much as you say, how American are you, go compete for another country, the things that people are in her DM saying, I'm like, but if I'm just as American, then you should also be offended by how offensive these lyrics are. But even you can't see past that beyond how you feel about, and Meghan McCain made this point that, like, going to the Olympics is not just about you, but then told a personal story about why the national anthem is important to her, but can't see why it's offensive to people of color.
But even if it's not offensive to you, I feel like if you're like, hey, you're an American, be proud of being American. Part of being an American is that we have the freedom to protest and to not have to be, we're not in a dictatorship where every time the national anthem is played, you have to salute and, bow down. Like, that is part of the beauty of being an American. And I feel like you have to respect that. We have autonomy over and freedom. That's the whole point of whether you believe Gwen or not, you should respect her right to protest.
Period. And Queen, thank you for making that comment, because I honestly hadn't really been paying attention to kind of like what was going on as far as like the national traction that it's been getting, and apparently Putin has made a comment about it, and that was also Meghan McCain's gripe about it, that now we're displaying to the world that we are weak, blah blah blah. And again, the hypocrisy of it all. We go into other countries in the name of human rights, but we can't take care of our own human rights over here, but you're worried about us looking weak anyway. Sorry, so let me stay on topic here, because I was talking to my mom and it came up that like she felt set up, and we were like, well, how did she feel set up? And then we read some more and it was like, I said, oh, wait a minute. The only time I remember hearing the national anthem, Corey, was at the opening of the event. I don't remember hearing the national anthem.
That for every other track meet I've ever been to, other than the Olympics.
Because think about it. How many events ran at the trials? I don't know. But if the national anthem played for every single medal ceremony that happened after every single event, the track meet would have never ended. So I believe Gwen. She was set up. Sorry, I don't care who's mad about it. She was set up. That national anthem was not played for any other medal ceremony. I didn't hear it. Queen just says she didn't hear it. Queen was there. Like, don't get me started on Meghan. My father. Child, yes. Yes. They didn't. Hey, Tiana. Hey, girl. Hey. Look at Corey bringing all the folks in here.
I love
for joining. They did not play the national anthem for any other ceremony. So
how do you feel about athletes protesting at the Olympic trials, at the Olympics?
I think it's their right. And I think what I was getting at earlier when we had the town hall, I kind of felt like it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And so to me, the idea of asking for permission to protest, I felt like it kind of takes away the importance of it, right? And I feel like if you believe in the cause so much, you don't need permission. You go out there and you do what it is that you feel is right. And I think back on John Carlos. They went up there, and today we celebrate those men, right? But they were willing to go up on that podium, take a stand. John Carlos and Tommy Smith, I'm sorry. Go on that podium, take a stand. They had their medals stripped from them. They were kicked out of the village. And to me, that is part of what makes what they did so powerful. That this meant that much to them that they didn't care. Let me not say they didn't care, but they had those things stripped from them. And retroactively, their medals were given back to them and so on and so forth. And that's the thing about being a part of a movement. It's not popular. It's not. Yeah, that's why we have to protest. And the idea that everybody's going to be on our side, it's just unrealistic. And so I was on that call and I just got kind of frustrated, and I just felt like, look, if you're going to protest, if you believe in this cause this much, you don't need, this white lady's permission to get up there and say Black Lives Matter.
And that's also part of the reason why I was not part of that call, because I just was like, I was tired at that point. I was like, I was just tired of listening and learning. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, and I think the whole part of participating in a protest is to be disruptive, is to make people uncomfortable, it's to make people really take a moment to recognize what's actually going on. And it's like, yes, we're interrupting your fun, and because what we do is entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. And we're interrupting your entertainment to talk about something that's really important, because at the end of the day, like, whether at the end of the day, like, you are Black before you're an Olympian. I am Black before I'm American.
So as you said that, I want to go back to this comment because somebody's in here trolling. And listen, we don't all have to agree. But first of all, I ain't wealthy. I don't know what you're talking about. But even if I was wealthy, it doesn't stop the fact that I'm treated differently when I walk into certain stores. It doesn't
And that
stop the
wealth
fact
doesn't
that my
protect me.
son is a larger target than a white boy. Like, I'm considering moving out of my neighborhood because I'm nervous about my son walking down the street and being targeted because who is this Black boy in this neighborhood? How can he afford to live in here? So that argument about being wealthy, it doesn't wash away the color of my skin and the prejudice and the judgment that I get, regardless of what's in my bank account. So please miss me
And if
with
you think
that.
Black people are wealthy, all right.
Unless you Allison Felix or Usain Bolt, we ain't wealthy.
And I think that it's funny how, okay, you reach this status where it's like, oh, now you're rich, so like you're not like it. Whether I'm wealthy, an Olympian, an athlete, college educated, I still have to deal with racial bias that exists in America. And I feel like, oh, I was actually listening to this show where this woman was talking about how she wants to become wealthy because she saw it as wealthy and famous because she saw it as the only way to protect herself. It is like, you know, these Black celebrities are putting their kids on social media because maybe if this cop recognizes that this is my son, this is LeBron James' son, my son might have a little better chance of survival. And the reality is it doesn't protect you, but like it's just frustrating to hear a comment like that because
Yeah.
I feel like that comes from a place of privilege where it's like money does not fix this problem.
At all. Someone, Adrian Levy, I appreciate your comment, but I look at it as an opportunity to teach. My grandfather is one that I love telling this story because I love my grandfather, number one, but I come from a family of comedians. But um, my grandparents live in Trinidad, and my grandfather worked hard all his life, and he worked hard to build this amazing, I'm going to call it a mansion on a hill in Trinidad. We are the only Black family on that hill. It's nothing but millionaires, and there's probably about 10 homes on the hill, but it is
Come on, Hilltop Hastings.
Gardner's. It's my maternal grandfather. But to go back to, I saw another comment about racism doesn't exist anymore, and although this is Trinidad, we're not just talking about in America. This happens across the globe. And so one day, my grandfather was in his yard, and he was in the front of the house. He's in Trinidad, so I shouldn't even say in Trinidad. I feel like that happens anywhere. He was bareback. And a gentleman walked up to the house and said, how are you? Is the owner of the home here? And my grandfather said, just a second, let me go get him for you. And he went downstairs and put on a suit and came back upstairs and said, now, how may I help you, sir? And the guy was so embarrassed. So embarrassed. But when you say racism no longer exists, the fact, now my grandfather did that to let homeboy know, like, yes, I live in this $1 million house on this hill with these people that you know, like the president of Guardian Life and blah, blah, blah. But it exists. Just because he saw a Black man in a yard in front of $1 million home, he thought he was the yard man. So please, don't get it.
And just because racism doesn't affect you doesn't mean racism doesn't exist.
Exactly. Oh, I like this one, William Green. Cops don't ask for a W-2 when they stop you. Come on.
You know what? You know what they will stop you for? Driving a Bentley,
While being Black.
driving a nice car. That
While
won't convict
being
you
Black.
I mean, they did, burn down all of Black Wall Street, but those are wealthy Black people.
But racism doesn't exist.
We are getting off
How dare
topic,
those
but
black people amass wealth? How dare they try to
and then
leave something
complain
for their
about it.
grandkids?
And then complain about it.
Even though they had to work 10 times harder. I can
To
go
get
out and
half
get
the
a
money.
VA loan, use that loan to buy a house, but the black person that served next to me in the Vietnam War can't even walk in the same bank and get a loan. But I can get a loan that I don't have. It's completely forgiven. That is the definition of systemic racism.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to wrap this up with, I saw a comment earlier about, are you allowed to protest at the Olympics? I wanted to actually comment on that, saying that the IOC has, in the past, said that the Olympic Games is not a place to protest or not a place for politics. I disagree 100%. And I disagree because the notion of the Olympics is a political movement. Apart
You
from
know what it is a place for?
sports, hmm?
You know what it is a place for? To advertise and sell these products.
To the entire world.
Make so much money off of advertising. The athletes don't see. But all
A
right.
dime of, but the IOC leaves with how many billions of dollars? You want to know? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You want to know how much money I made for my gold medal? $25,000, and that didn't come from the IOC. That came from
Can
the
I ask you a question?
UNCPC.
Can I ask you a question now?
$25,000.
Can I ask you a question? How much money would you have made had you not got a medal?
Oh, in the hole, because I fund my career. I pay my coach. So that
So
$25,000 don't
you're
even
putting this.
cover my coach, my doctor, my physio, my sports psychologist.
So you're putting on a show. You're being part of it. You're part of this
Taxes.
huge
Thank you,
machine.
moderator. Thank you, Natalie.
But yeah, you are the talent for this whole production. And if you don't win, what are you making? But they definitely put on your. They show that prelim. They show that semi. You're the talent. You are the whole show. But all right.
I digress.
But,
Let me just say this one last thing. There are members of the IOC who travel to the Olympics and they have like $500 per day per diem, and they're there for like a month. Y'all do the math. They don't have to claim on their taxes. And I think I'm actually on the low end. I think the per diem is a little bit more than that. But all right, let's move on to the next topic.
What other job? What other job can you go work for free? No guarantee of a paycheck, right? And your other source of income is like, hey, also if you don't win, we're gonna take half your paycheck. We're gonna reduce you by 30%. Let me see.
I'm gonna sip to that. All right.
But they only had 1% of people who are doping.
Ay, ay, ay. All right, well, let's not end this live on.
Let's get to what was popping.
Let's get to what was popping at trials. Let's get to what's popping. Well, let's let the chat, like, where do y'all want us to start? What events do you want us to start off with? Because I mean, all that stuff aside, the trials were exciting. I came home and like I was jumping out of my bed, screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, the races were so exciting. What races do you guys want to start off with? I will say, even though the 400 is my baby, the 400 hurdles was my favorite race. Women's 400 hurdles.
Gang. I mean, obviously. Queen has a really good question. With all of that being said, and knowing that track isn't that the risk isn't always worth the reward, what makes y'all keep? What makes y'all
What
keep?
keeps both of you going in this sport?
And
I'm the one having wine. Corey doesn't drink coffee, wine, nothing that will.
yes, I don't need any type of
You
stimulant.
don't.
I swear I can read it all. Like I have my degree and everything.
You want to take that first?
I love what I do. Like I like, and it's always been my dream. Like I can honestly say I am the woman that little Corey would want to be. You know, like I am my wildest dreams because when I was a kid, I always said like I want to be a professional athlete, and like to say that to me also was like I want to be a superhero. Like the 1%, the 1%, the 1% who actually get to do this at the level we get to do this is insane. It's like it's a shot in the dark. And yeah, so I just really love what I do.
Yeah.
And you know, I could go out. I have a degree from Stanford. I could go get a job with money, and like the thing about being an athlete is like your earning potential goes down.
Goes down
you
every
know,
year.
where everyone else is like in their 20s building their resume, getting their skills up, and like earning more and more money. And I always say that track and field is a job. It's not a career. Like we're not making basketball, football, baseball money. We're
Corey, we got to get your Wi-Fi together before our next live.
Look, I'm coming over with the dog, so be ready to vacuum. But go ahead. That was it. I just love what I do.
Yeah. So for me, same thing. Like I think, and I think all things can be true at the same time. I would love to be a millionaire off of what I'm doing. But ultimately I love what I'm doing. And I think like Corey said, like I am my wildest dream. I always think back to the little girl that saw the 96 Olympics and was like, oh, I think I want to do that when I grow up. And the idea that like I can do it and I've done it, and like even, you know, falling short in it's like even in my failures, I'm able to find like, but girl, like you came fourth at the Olympics. You're number 4 out of how many billions of people are on this planet.
Yeah.
So it really is like, you know, a personal, you know, drive. And it is something that, I mean, at the end of the day, it does have to make sense. You know, like as I think about things, it has to make sense. I got to be able to pay coach, put food on the table, do all those things. Yeah. But, you know, if it brings me great joy, the first thing my chiropractor said to me when I walked off the track, he was like, I know that you're excited about, you know, your new career, but let me tell you something about having a regular job. It sucks. You have the rest of your life to work. Keep doing what you love doing for as long as you can. And another thing, we tend to disregard our experience on the track. But let me tell you something. Throw all these accolades on our resume. I already have offers on the table that I shouldn't say offers on the table, but I have situations where like, when you're ready, come and talk to us, because your experience on top of your knowledge with what it is that you can do, like that experience counts. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right. So we've already hit the hour mark. Aisha said regular jobs are a scam. I didn't even say it how he really said it. He put an expletive in there. He was like, I'm telling you, having a job effing sucks.
And what other job are you going to come to work and they're going to be like, there's going to be like thousands of people just be like, I hope you do well.
Jobs are ghetto.
They really are. If someone's trying to pay for my lifestyle, you know, Natasha's Cash App, my Venmo.
Listen, my Cash App is there. My Venmo is there. You can book me and Corey on Cameo. Listen, I've told y'all, like, I don't have to work for free. You know
what? If not me or Natasha,
here.
If not me or Natasha, send your favorite track athlete $5 today.
All right, let's get into these events. So since this
Yes.
comment is up here, let's start off with the men's 100. Corey and I, first of all, we both believe that Trials was Black Girl Magic. Like, it was just Black Girl Magic all over the place, changing of the guard, seeing the new talent coming about, and just not even just coming about, but like showing out. But let's start off here at the 100.
Can I just say, I'm gonna tell what I said to you earlier today. I like the men's races were entertaining to watch. However, I feel like the men were out here running races and the women were out here making history. And that is no shade to the men. It was just like, and I was like, the guys just was like, okay, cool, solid races, but the women's race was like, it got my spirit and my soul. But let's talk about this 100. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so the 100 was Bromell to, oh God, Curly was third. Was it the college kid in the middle?
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I remember Trayvon Fridays. Let me look it up.
Who was second? Oh my God.
Was it Ronnie?
Was it Ronnie?
I feel like that in my spirit, but my spirit has tended to be wrong on.
Well, while Corey looks that up, it was Ronnie Baker.
See, I know that. Don't doubt yourself, Corey.
I just want to say that all them people that was talking mess, talking about women don't sell tickets to sporting events, you a lie. Because like Corey said, we was out there making history. And I'm going to say we because I'm putting myself in there, okay? But what I thought was exciting in the 100, and I really enjoyed watching Fred through the rounds, Fred Curly. And I loved his tweet.
Let me tell you
What I
something.
really like about this new generation of athletes is the confidence and the Twitter talk. I do.
Let me tell you something about Fred Curly.
And Fred was like,
Fred Curly is the hot girl this summer. I'm just letting y'all know that Fred Curly is the baddest on the track. Like, business is booming. Phase 9, phase 19, phase 42 later. Okay.
Yeah. Let me just say. Let me just say, I met Fred Curly 2017 at US Nationals. This was after his I don't remember, it was after his collegiate season of just like wreck and shop, right? And Mike T and I were at the track doing a pre-meet or whatever, and Fred walked up. He just walked by on the track and like, he did a general, hey, how you doing? But Fred's aura, Fred's swag, I kid you not, I turned to Mike T. I said, that boy is going to be a problem for these boys. So when Fred announced, or when the declarations came out that Fred was running the 100 and the 200 and not the 400, I wasn't surprised. Because I
was surprised, but I believed it.
Because when I said that boy is going to be a problem, the energy just gave me, I'm crazy and I believe in my crazy and I'm going to make you believe in my crazy. And Fred made the world believe in his crazy last week, okay? Because people were like, no, no, no. And let me tell you something. He almost did it in that 200. And I believe if he wasn't in lane 2, he would have did it.
Here's the thing. Fred was out there on beaches, okay, running barefoot on the sand, drinking coconut straight from the tree that he got it. Like, Fred trying to get out of the mud. Also, I feel like we have to also talk about Trayvon because, like, this is a man, I just feel like he's gone through, like, evolution. He is running with purpose.
Okay.
And, like, I just feel like I've seen a real, who's trying to call me? It's my mother. Mom, I'm doing a live. But I just feel like I've seen a real change and a maturity to him, and I just feel like I feel like his injury like humbled him to where he had to build himself back up from the ground up, and he is a new machine, like a new beast, and I love to see it.
I love to see it too. I love to see it, to go from being wheeled off the track in Rio to like, and it being a slow day by day, year by year progression for him to come back to be a U.S. champion. Yep.
And the type of, I'll say this, the type of confidence you have to have to be a male sprinter in the 100 because you have to wake up every day and tell yourself, he does. You have to tell yourself every day, I am the fastest man in the world, which is insane. When you really think about what we are trying to do is to be the best in the world at something, the confidence that you have to take into that is insane. And yeah, so yeah, the men's 100 was hot. The women's 100,
this girl is on fire.
It was giving moisture. It was giving highlight. It was giving frontals. It was giving lace fronts.
Not the frontals and the lace fronts. Corey Carter, I will not.
It was giving
acrylics. Yeah. I don't even have words. First of all, the way that Sha'Carri, I'm sorry. I want to make sure that I pronounce her name right.
Sha'Carri, baby.
The way that thank you. This is what I'm getting to. Michelle Obama, First Lady, was like, did y'all see my baby Sha'Carri? I was like, yeah.
It's the energy for me.
It's the energy for me.
She's giving aesthetic. She's giving Black excellence.
Yes, and Tiana is here. Tiana, come to the front. Let's give you your flowers. Come to the front of the chat. Let's give you your flowers while you're here. Yeah, the 100 was just...
And I love T. I train with T. I see the work she puts in every day. And she is just like a sweetheart down to her core. And she's someone that you want to see win.
Mm-hmm.
All those girls are, but Tiana is someone I love rooting for.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Same. 100.
I genuinely, as much as I wanted to see Tiana Bartoletta, I want to see my vets on there. I wanted to see English on there. It was quite refreshing, and it is bittersweet cool to see like the changing of the guard, literally, to like look at the 100 and just be like, man, this it's
Degrassi the next generation. I said it's Degrassi the next generation.
Yeah, like just I think English will be in the relay pool. But I just think it's really awesome to just see these new young ladies and just see where they're taking the sport. And I think, I want to give a shout out to even what they're doing off the track, because honestly, and I know social media continues to grow year after year, but one thing that I've been paying attention to these past couple of weeks while trials are going on, I have never seen other media outlets pick up the performances at trials the way they have this time. I've never seen it. Yeah. And like seeing other celebrities give us shout outs and I'm like, I love to see it. I hope we keep that energy in between these next 3 years. But I think, and I think some of it is some of their social media presence where, some people, may not like the spice that they're given, but we've been screaming for years, we need more eyes, and we're getting it. And I think well-deserved, rightfully so.
Yeah. I think not only are they giving showmanship, they're also giving like straight talent. Like Sha'Carri's being Sha'Carri, but she's also like running insane times. It's the fact that she's the whole package.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love to see it. And I'm just excited because it's not just Sha'Carri. It's like there's so many different like big personalities. I'm not saying you had to be a big personality, but like I think it does help the sport because Sha'Carri's going out there and she's putting on a show. And that is what track and field needs.
I
Um,
think that is forgotten a lot, that we are also entertainment. So, yeah, she's putting on a show. Claudette, you bring up a very interesting point because my mind didn't go that far. I really only thought about 3 years. Like, I literally said to my training partner yesterday, like, dang, y'all don't get no break. There's no off year. He was like, yeah, I know. But it's going to be 5 years straight because then you go right into the next cycle.
yeah.
2024 is the Olympics, 2025 is the World Championships, right? And then 2026 would be the next off year. My God. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, no, no.
But like honestly, we keep going on these tangents. But like, do we need an off year? Because no other sport is just like, you know, so I feel like yes, it's good to have like a year where like I can like decompress, but also I feel like for the sake of the sport, like every other sport is like there's a championship every year.
I agree,
But
but
also our bodies do need a break and our
and
minds.
I think it is evident in how many world records we've seen this year.
That's a good point.
Because I think that and think about like how soon the world records started too. We were seeing world records as early as the first indoor meet. And I think
True.
a lot of athletes, it went one way or the other with the pandemic. Like having that time off either set you back or it gave
Maybe
you the
time.
rest to come back and, you know. So I don't know. I from the fan perspective, I agree. We got to keep it going. But from the perspective
Yeah.
of what will bring bigger performances, I don't know. The year off might yeah. All right, let's go on to the next event before we have people in here. Thank God I'm off tomorrow.
Uh, can we talk about, can we talk,
I
I feel
have
like we
not
talked about
I
this
hold
event.
on, wait. Let me just put this out here. I have not retired. I have not retired.
She told y'all
Court,
we did that she was
huh?
going to do the season out. I was saying that you said in the beginning of this live that you still have some meets coming up.
Yeah, I still have some meets coming up and I will decide on next year. All right, what's the next event up?
I don't know. Like, can we talk about the women's 800? Because that's like what I'm obsessed with. Well, I'm
Let's
just
do
so
it.
obsessed with one person today. But like,
Shar and Friday. I think Moo
do this
decided
means
to run the 800 by winning the women's
yeah,
800 at the trials. She did not
yeah.
compete
I
in
mean,
the 400. So,
yeah. Um, we were talking about this earlier. Give a thing her modeling contract. She was
right
giving
now,
she was giving ponytail and cheekbones and melanin, and it was great to see.
right
Uh,
now, she walked out on that track in that pony, and I was like, where is the modeling contract? Okay. And she didn't even just come out with the long, it was like the warrior, like banded down. Oh,
40-inch hair came in the pack.
I was like,
Like she was getting bundles.
where is her modeling contract? And then I'm gonna give Sonya her flowers, a thing of beauty. I was like, come on with the color commentating. Yes, she is. um, no, but all jokes aside, the 800 was a stressful race for me.
Where are we telling?
Because I was cheering on Chanel Price. My
I do
eye
like
was also on Raven. And I know that Raven is like always the late striker. So and she just stresses me out, period.
always stress me
Um,
out.
a
And
thing
you
I
know,
was just kind of like, what is she gonna do? And then Ajay ran a race that I'm not used to seeing her run. I know Ajay goes out to the front and she commands the lead,
yeah.
and so she had to run back at the end too. That I was like, girl, don't play with my emotions like this. I know
But
you were
if you
going through
saw
it.
Ajay to the rounds, I feel like she was doing a really good job. It was like the last 50, she was closing in every single round. So she had me nervous because, you know, that's my best friend go, best friend go. But I was like, I also know what my best friend is capable of. So I was like, I know she's gonna make this team.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said she's even more gorgeous in person if I
She
see it again.
is. No, she is.
Yeah.
I walked
And
past
like
her a couple of times at trials, and she's breathtaking. She is.
and she also just has like a good spirit, you know.
And you know how I
Um,
feel about that. That just elevates your beauty to another level.
I know. which is why she thinks I'm so wonderful.
No, Dexter, don't leave us. Well, this live will be here. You can come on tomorrow and watch the
What
rest.
time is it? Girl, you have me up
It's
double
late.
digits.
It's late. We got to get through these events.
All right, I'm just okay. Here, okay. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through the event, give my like 2 cents, just two, so that we can wrap it up.
All right.
Men's 400 hurdles. Rye Benjamin, I feel like didn't even go out that hard. That record's coming down. Women 400, year of the mom. We know this. Also, Allison Felix says, y'all are running for a shoe company. Ghetto. I run for myself. The men's shot put. I'm very proud of Rye for getting that world record. He was throwing that thing. Javon Harrison doing the double, which is like the first time
Hasn't been done in
Jen
over
Thorpe
100
in a
years.
long jump and high jump. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The women's 200, y'all really said it's 21 all day out here.
I got to stop you here because imagine running 21 seconds and you're not going to the Olympics. Imagine running 21 seconds and you're staying home.
Like, they're not playing.
Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. 8th place in that race was 22.4. I don't even know if FloJo's race was that fast. I don't even know if FloJo's race was that fast. All right, carry on.
The men's 110 hurdles. I feel like Grant Holiday running that semi by himself. Like, that record's coming down. If he has someone to go with him in, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, it was that good. That's my hot takes on all of it. Natasha, what about you?
God, how do I follow that up? So the 400, I want to go ahead and give Wadland her flowers, because it was the year of mommy, but I was also proud to see Wadland make the team. She's a fellow Gamecock. She actually broke my school records at South Carolina, so that was cool to see. Excited for her going to Tokyo. The men's 400. Michael Cherry, Michael Norman. They're just exciting to watch. I was pulling for the old guy, LaShawn Merritt, but you know, it happens. Changing of the guard. The men's 400 hurdles. Rye Benjamin. He's just the most exciting guy to me to watch right now. I just love seeing him race. I think Joanna's doing an amazing job with him. When he came off that final hurdle, I was looking at the clock and I was like, ooh, I didn't know I had this coach's eye, but I was like, he's about to run 46. There were a couple of races, both the 400 hurdles.
That's not true.
Huh?
You said, I wonder if he's going to hit 47. And then you were like, wait, he just ran 46.
Oh, yeah, we were together when we were watching it. Yeah, like I was looking at the time like, oh, wait, he's about to run something crazy. 46.89, right? 89 was it? Yeah. So, I mean, to see him dip into just, there's elite and then there is elite.
There's like phenom.
Yes, phenom.
There's legendary.
Like that was just exciting to watch. What else here is on my list? Talked about the 800. Javon Harrison. I thought that was exciting to see this collegiate kid, number one, coming off of a collegiate season is a huge feat in itself. But then to pull off this double that has not been done in God knows how long, was crazy. Sad to see my boy Eric not going. But we both know what Eric has been coming back from, and you know he showed up and did his thing. Will Clay though, Queen, if you still here.
But everyone knows that I am a Will Clay fan. Okay,
let's talk about it.
I want to be number one, but like I just want everything that Will Clay touches to prosper. if you want to support Will Clay, do what I do. Sometimes I just put Will Clay and I stream it. Even if I'm not listening to music, I just sometimes put him on Spotify just so like he gets his coins. And just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'm just a fan.
That is somebody that I'm just like, how do you do what you do? But you do what you do, and you just do it so
Will Clay's
well
a
in all the
vibe.
things.
He is a vibe, and he's such good energy. And I'm just a fan.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Thank you. Don't forget Grant Holloway. This was exciting to watch. His semi was more exciting than the final. However, he did what you're supposed to do. His semi said, I'm here. His final said, I'm going to make this team. Okay.
Yeah.
It was also exciting to see Devin Allen in there. And I think it was a collegiate kid that came in third.
That was D-Rob, my child. Daniel Roberts.
Yeah, so that was exciting. Again, some young faces, not necessarily new faces, but young faces, changing of the guard happening there. Men's 800. We didn't talk about that. That was probably the upset of the meet, right?
It broke my heart, but like I loved his interview after because he was like, he didn't give any excuses. He was just like, hey, some guys are better than me today. But the fact that he said, I still feel like the man, I still feel like I'm the best in the world 800. I'm like, you know what? Even when you down, you up. And I like that.
What I didn't appreciate though, and I hate to make this comparison, but I have to, I always go to, if this was a woman, would this be received this way? But I'm gonna move on. All right. So my favorite race, Corey, your race.
400 hurdles. Look, every year it gets stupider and stupider what we do out here.
And I'm gonna say for a while it was the 400. For a while it was like my event was like crazy competitive, crazy like do or die. But your event right now, let me just say, I was pulling for Dalila, still am. I knew Sydney was ready to do something crazy. She looked the easiest, hands down through the rounds. My pick was Sydney, Dalila, Shamir. Happy for, I
definitely thought Shamir was going to make the team.
For baby Jenny. Anna Cockrell went in there and ran the race of her life. PB got herself a spot on the team. Shamir, unfortunately, is hook the hurdle the correct terminology?
Yeah, she has a right lead leg, so sometimes she can go around the hurdle, and like if you, especially on the turn, if you're not going over your trail leg properly, like you're gonna slam into that thing. And unfortunately, it usually happens at the end of the race because you're tired. So the more tired you are, the worse your technique gets.
Yeah, she went in to like make a move to come down that straightaway with Sydney, and it visibly threw her off. What's crazy is she was still in third, but Anna came back and passed her after hurdle 10.
Yeah.
Sydney came off that last hurdle and had a surge that I was just like, "Ooh, girl!"
And it was so smooth too.
Very smooth. I predict that the world record is going to go down again in Tokyo.
For sure.
I don't know what order. And I say that because
the last time Dalila got beat by Sydney, she went to work and broke the world record.
And I also say that because Dalila, honestly, the 51.9 blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. Sure. I was like, I was jumping out of my skin, almost chopped my head off on my fan. Like I was jumping up and down like that, right? But Dalila's 52.4 has me like, this girl had COVID. This girl had a hamstring injury.
Couldn't train properly because
couldn't train properly.
How to move.
Came to the trials, ran through 3 rounds, and still ran 52.4. She's got about 4 weeks to train before Tokyo. I don't know. I'm not counting Dalila out of that gold medal and getting the world record back. I'm not. And if there's a race that I'm excited to see in Tokyo, it is that women's 400 hurdles.
And I think Dalila is one of the most poised athletes on the track. Like
And
She
then
has like,
the one who doesn't get her flowers, like, because
and who also needs a modeling contract. Like I just need a little on Fashion
she's
Week.
doing
Like
she's doing Skims. She got Skims.
I want her in Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton,
Louis,
all of that.
Fendi.
I want her on these runways because
Yeah.
she has the structure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Delilah, like, as someone who has competed against both of these girls, they are both amazing athletes. And I agree. I don't think Delilah gets the credit that she deserves with the resume that she has.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh shoot, we're at 120. Come on,
Huh?
guys. Thank you.
But yeah, I think this race is gonna go crazy, and I'm kind of jealous that I'm not in it because I love being in fast races because I love running against women when they're at the top of their game because it
Because it
brings out the
takes
best
its
in
best
me.
in you. Yep. Yep.
Like I've
Yep.
always been the type of person like I want you to know that you did all that you could, and yet it still couldn't beat me. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, she had a little hamstring. No, like I want to go toe to toe with you and see who comes out on top. But
Mm-hmm. Sharn
yeah,
Friday, what is the impact of not having experienced and seasoned track athletes with the newbies going to Tokyo? The impact is the inexperience gains experience, and that is something that's always used against the newbies. But the only way to get experience is to get experience. Um,
yeah,
and so, I think they're going to be just fine. But I think also we as Team USA get greedy, and every year we want to win the medal count and this and that,
no,
and we should strive for those things. But the fact of the matter is, like every program, every country, we go through a rebuilding phase. I think this team going to Tokyo is just fine. I'm still counting them as the medal winner. But
a young professional team and a college team. I think those are two different teams, and I feel like we're sending a lot of young professionals. And I also think like a lot of times it can go one or two ways where it's like you either rise to the occasion because like there's no pressure and you're just like I can do like no one's expecting me to do anything. Like I feel like Brittany Brown was a great example of that, and when she got silver in the 200, like I think she just was like I can run free because no one's expecting me to do anything. Or you can let the pressure get to you, and but like you said, it's like that is a learning experience.
yeah, yeah, and like I said, there's the only way to get experience is to get experience. So
Yeah,
I'm not worried about this team.
no, like we're sitting like so many world record holders. Which is insane.
Going into the games,
like,
okay?
Sitting number ones, like we're not sitting a bunch of world leaders over there. We're sitting in the history.
Yeah.
In the Jackie Joyner Kersey world history.
In the history books. Like
history.
One day they might make a movie about me. Like, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Can we get off this live because
you ready to go?
No.
Are y'all ready to go? I mean, we got 125 people in here. Let's open the floor to questions. We've covered all of our topics that we had on the docket. I want to say I've seen a few of you say that we have to do this more often. If you join the party late, this is a panel that Corey and I have created that we are going to do all summer. What we are going to do, Corey has started her own YouTube channel that she needs to get the correct link to so that I can get you guys to subscribe. But the plan is for us to alternate channels that we do this on. So I don't know if it'll happen the next time, but we will be back and we will be reviewing or giving our recap of the track meet. So there's a meet coming up this Sunday, the ATL meet.
We're going live this Sunday or Monday?
No, right. Yeah, we'll have to go live after because we're giving our thoughts after. But the plan is to give our recaps of the track meets happening this summer and especially of Tokyo. So we're going to have to figure out our Tokyo schedule because that's like really soon and like every day. But I'm happy to see that you guys are enjoying this content. There's 118 of you in here. I've never had this many people on any of my lives. So thank you, Corey, for bringing the party. And
It was
we will
awful.
continue to do this. Yes, I will. I will do my Real Housewives of Potomac reviews. So yeah, let's talk about, let's get to some questions and then we're gonna get out of here because
Yes, yes, yes.
what happened to the buys for the Olympic champions? That is for the world championships. There are no
Yes.
buys into the Olympics, but there are buys into the world championships.
Which is
Thank
also, which
you.
is also cool because sometimes you can send like 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, looking forward to Natasha Corey. Is Corey single though? I'm trying to see the hairline.
Oh, this is a good question. I'm assuming that you're talking about Fred. Um, it could have been
Fred is
economic
Let me tell you something.
because the money is in the 100, but I do think that, you know, Fred talks a lot about, you got to read the tea leaves, right? Fred is on phase 42. And the thing about track is
I know we're going to. I know we're going. Go ahead.
this season builds on next season. If done correctly, this season builds on next season. So Fred got down to 9.8 this year. He got down to 19.9. I guarantee you he's going to go back to the 400, and these PBs this year is going to help him get to that phase 42. So it might have been a little bit economic because, yes, there is more money in the 100. But I think Fred is thinking about a bigger picture that I don't think I think most people just took it as, okay, he's going down to the 100. But I see where Fred is going.
I feel like Allison.
Corey, your internet is
because
driving
of
me
her PR on the
crazy.
200. Look! Listen up! Can you hear me now?
We hear you now. You said Allison. I'm assuming that you were going to say that Allison is an example of like having that speed and transferring it over to the 400.
Yes, because I feel like Allison's so deadly in the 4 because of how much speed she has in the 2. So like, if I'm running the 4 and my coach says like, hey, you need to get out in 24, I'm like, well, that's pretty close to my PR. Like, yeah. But if you tell Allison to go out in 23 and like she's like, well, that's like 80% for me if I'm running, and so she not only can she get to the 200 mark before you, she's not expending as much energy as you to hit that time.
Exactly.
So she's able to come home stronger. So with Fred, if you can get that foot speed up, and it's like, oh, it's nothing for me to come through in 20 point.
Exactly.
42 is possible.
Which is why I got a lot of flack for my race plan. However, that is why I run the 200 early in the season, because I work on building up my speed. And when I run my best 400s, it's when, I'm in 22 mid shape. I'm in 22.8 shape because, going out of 23.5, it looks crazy to you, but it's actually not that fast because I can run 22 mid. So, yeah.
Boss.
Okay. Saw some questions. Do you think Gabby can win gold in Tokyo? Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. If you saw her run that 300 indoors, like that girl is strong.
Yeah, she's really strong. I actually trained on the same track as Corey, Gabby. And she trains very hard. She is definitely a beast. How do you all feel about Shelly Ann Fraser running her fastest times this late in her career? I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I think
Year of the Mom.
Yeah. The Year of the Mom. I feel like we see men do it, so why can't women do it? Yeah. Yeah.
That's a low key wish.
Gabby says she barely feels lactic. I believe it. I believe it. I've seen her do some workouts that I'm like, ooh, chow. Um, which athletes are dating? I don't know.
Let me give you the tea.
Y'all want to come here and spill tea. Y'all don't want to talk about track.
Well, we got Christina Manning.
I mean, I guess you date your
Girl.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah, Christina and Kyle, Queen. Who else are these track couples?
Oh,
Not even to say Ashton.
Ashton.
Ashton Eden and his
Oh, and
wife.
his wife. The girl Tara Davis and her boyfriend.
Tara Hunter, yes. So.
All tea, all shade.
You know.
Thoughts on Omar McLeod saying he doesn't like that their finals were the morning after their semis and caused him to perform badly. Two things can be true at once. He doesn't have to like it. However, everybody had to line up at the same time and perform under the same conditions. Corey, I hate you.
I wouldn't know. I'm not an Olympian. Natasha, does it go down in the Olympic Village?
It goes down.
In the Olympic Village and the DMs. You heard it first. Natasha.
It goes down. I've never gone down, but it goes down. And you'd be surprised at who it goes down with. But I ain't gonna spill that tea. I'm gonna keep that in the village. I'm gonna keep.
You're gonna spill it after.
I'll tell you off the line, but
thank you.
What I will say is the youngest members of the team who do the most getting down.
I'm gonna say something. I was almost saying something else, but I didn't. And I didn't. That is called discretion.
Mike Larry, you missed it. We talked about this. Oh no, we didn't. Did we? We didn't really talk about. I think we talked about the men's 100 hurdles. Yeah, and actually, I meant to ask you because I saw a comment. Did you notice that they were advancing an additional person in the women's 100 hurdles? So I guess there were 9.
What?
They used, yeah, I guess they did 9 because, Brianna's under protest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense then.
Yeah. I didn't notice that, but that would, as Corey said, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Kenny did what she came to do. Kenny, missed it last time and then went on to break the world record. And then people were up in arms like, how do you leave the world's best 100 hurdler home? Because we're the world's greatest team. And she didn't do what she had to do on the day that she had to do it. And then the girls went to the Olympics and swept that hoe. But
can I also do something? Not only did we leave the world record holder, in 2016, we also left the world lead. That was Jasmine Sowers at the time. We also left the reigning gold medalist, Dawn Harper Nelson.
Oh.
And we still swept, which is why I'm trying to tell y'all the women's hurdles is But yeah, I'm actually very proud of Kenny. I feel like she is someone with a great talent and she has had to overcome making it happen when it counts, and I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of pressure and anxiety that you get when you compete, especially at these world stages, especially when you're expected to do well. And especially in an event where a lot of times if you are, one of the top girls in a lot of events, it's like, okay, I gotta worry about 1 or 2 girls, they might be able to make a move on me and someone might sneak in. In the 100 hurdles, you have to worry about lanes 1 through 9. On any day, it could be anyone's day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, to see her triumph and overcome something that I feel has been just kind of this monkey on her back. I think it's really inspiring to see okay, she fell down, but she kept getting back up and mm-hmm. And shout out to Coach Flo for Coach Flo got a lot of people on this team. I'm trying to tell you about something about my coach.
Oh yeah. But wait, before we go there, I want to give Christina a shout out for her Cool Ranch earring. She got the Cool Ranch bag.
I like
um,
it.
yeah, but so who else he's got? Tiana, Kenny,
Jenna,
Jenna,
Tara,
Tara.
Stefan. He's also got a couple athletes on the Jamaican team. He has a person on the Jamaican team, and Jonathan's on the Trinidad team. So he's got 7 people going to the Olympics.
Okay, okay, okay.
I feel like I'm also forgetting someone, but shouldn't
Some people
actually.
forget that just because you're fast another day don't mean you fast on the day. If you can't mentally
Yes.
make it to qualify, then in the Olympic finals, you're probably not going to perform like others. To be honest, though, that's not 100% true because, quite frankly, the Olympic trials, the U.S. Olympic trials, is actually harder than the actual Olympic Games. But we're going to talk about that another day. She got the Cool Ranch bag. I need Christina to get the Doritos bag. Listen, agreed. I
You
saw
know one of my
that,
favorite
and that was
things?
my first thought, honestly. Like, this is cute and all, but let me get that bag, okay?
My favorite thing is seeing Black women get money. I love to see it.
Love to see it.
I love to see it.
Oh, Benjamin said, Flo knows.
Hashtag gang gang.
Okay, they won our relay picks. I don't remember. I don't see where the question was.
I don't know. Put them all in a bag, mix it up, throw it out there. We gonna get the goal. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
let everyone run around because it don't.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't want to be that relay coach.
let me tell you something.
That relay coach is going to be the most hated person because there's so much talent to choose from that
We
somebody's
can put a
bound
real
to be
no
mad.
shade, no tea. This is not even shade or tea. This is just talking about the depth and the talent.
Mm-hmm.
You could put it together a team without any 400 girl on it, and I think we could get a gold. I know we could get the gold.
Probably get really close to the world record too.
You could put a thing. You could put Sydney. You could put Delila. You could put Anna or Gabby.
Quinera.
So I would bet the house on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this because I did not know about this until you guys brought it to my attention. And I went to the Olympic trials. Let me tell y'all how deep this is. I got to the Olympic trials. Oh, okay, wait, let me read the question. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the real question is, do these other shoe brands need to step their innovation up, or should Nike have to hold off at moving the sport forward with innovation? So I have 2 thoughts on this, right? What are we doing if technology... Oh, my blanket fell. Listen, I'm home alone. I'm like, wait, hold on. Who's in here with me? um,
Yeah,
um,
like who?
What are we doing if technology is now making this generation of athletes so much faster, right? Like, are we encroaching in this doping? Like, are we moving into that territory? But also, this thing is so deep that I got to the Olympic trials and learned that some of my Under Armour teammates chose to terminate or pause their contracts in order to wear these shoes because Under Armour does not have the technology yet. And I was torn about it because I'm an athlete first, but as an entrepreneur, I think about business. And when I heard that Under Armour was like, we don't have the technology, we understand what you want to do, I was like, but also, is this good for business? But also, is this really fair? Like, because yeah, as the athlete that doesn't have that technology, How do you feel about lining up next to somebody that has that technology, that has that advantage?
Okay. If I was one of the athletes who did not have that
I'm one of the
technology,
athletes that didn't have the technology.
okay. Here's the thing, and it may sound naive and delusional, but I worry about things that I can control, right? So if it's like, and so for me, same thing with doping. Like when I line up, it's like the reality is I'm probably gonna race someone
That is
who is
doping,
doping,
and that is totally out of my control.
and that's out of my control. If I don't have access to technology, and so for me, I always am like, okay, beat them in ways. Figure out a way to beat them in ways. Do it clean. Do whatever. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying this is how I would approach it in order to give myself a sense of sanity and to walk onto the track confident. Because I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, I already lost this race because I don't have this shoe. Mm-hmm. Am I saying that that's right overall? No. I'm just saying mentally, that's how I'm approaching things. Because if it's my motto in life is fix it or F it. Like, if I can't fix this problem, then I don't worry about it.
Yeah. And that's essentially the attitude that you got to have.
Yeah.
But two things can exist in one. Two things can exist in one. You got to have that mentality and that attitude. But
yeah,
does your competitor have an advantage over you with that?
Probably.
Yeah. This is didn't swimming go through this when Speedo developed that special swimsuit? And I'm interested. I believe this was like 2008 where that whole thing started. But I'm interested in the business side of it because there's always a brand that comes out with the technology, right? And then there's always this backlash of like, that's not fair. How can you do that? And then I wonder, like, does the brand then decide, okay, we'll sell our patent to the other brands. So, even though you're our competitor, you can now make the same technology and now everybody can use the technology. So that's the way of, like, I guess, leveling the playing field, but also we get to make the dollars because we don't have to take our product off the market. Yeah. I'm intrigued by both sides of it because there's like, as the athlete, I just want to line up, strip down. I put in the hours. We trained all day. Like, let's forget all the enhancing stuff and just line up toe to toe, athlete to athlete. But now you have this, similar to what I was talking about, the technology with the officials and stuff. Like, at what point is the technology going too far?
Because the thing, at the end of the day, it's like we're not NASCAR. We're not like, oh, I gotta like have this tire and then put this in. Like, we're not trying to build an athlete. We're trying to just use guys. But at the same time, I think that evolution is necessary. Because like back in the day, they were digging holes in the dirt track.
In the dirt. You're right. You're right.
Because they didn't have, that was their blocks. Was this little? You would come out to the line with a little shovel and get your little. Can you imagine?
You are right. You are absolutely right.
And like I had to dig a different hole.
And
so, yeah, I think there's just a lot of. I hate stuff like that. I hate gray area. It's just like a gray area. It's like I don't know whether it's better to be like, hey, like no one should wear these shoes, or it's like, hey, like let's see how. Because it's like there has to be a limit, like right? Yeah. Because.
Wait, Damon.
The second you start putting springs in your high jump spikes, it's like, are y'all high jumping, or y'all just
are you springing?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Damon, sorry to cut you off real quick. I just want to answer this question real quick. Nike is the first company to have the technology. The other brands now have the technology. Under Armour just doesn't have it just yet. So. Sorry, Corey, go ahead. I wanted to.
I was just going to finish my point about high jump. It's just like, if you put springs in, like, that's not high jumping. But if you start Fosbury flopping when everyone was scissoring, that's just a new technique that is clearly superior.
Mm-hmm.
But like, obviously a new technique is not the same as like an artificial thing that you add to your body. I have to hope that the relay team gets together because we need to see how it goes. Because if we end up with Gwen Torrance 2.0 on the team, we're gonna have problems.
So I don't even know the T on the relay camp, because what's interesting about this Olympics is you cannot enter Tokyo until 5 days before
Japan.
your event. So first of all, track and field won't even be a part of the opening ceremony, which I'm just like, how do you go to the Olympics and not go to the opening ceremony? I'm sure Team USA has something set up for relay camp because we just don't do that. But I do think the relay aspect of the games is, I mean, the games is going to be interesting, but that piece of it, I am a little bit worried because I don't know how realistic relay camp is.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I feel like we've seen how crucial it is to get these handoffs because, like, how many times have we, like, I just keep thinking about 2017 when, you know, we had Christian and Gat, and then somehow we get second in the 4x1.
Well, the thing about the relay is it's not just having the 4 fastest legs. It's about keeping that stick moving fast. And it's all about those exchanges. If you can't get those exchanges right.
And like some countries, like they've had their relay team for the past 3 years. Like we be at the meet like, all right, guys, here's the lineup. Y'all about to go to check in, but like,
I'm not even gonna lie. There have been some world championships that I've been to, even the Olympics. We ain't practiced no handoffs. It was just like, this is the order.
I feel like that's American. I remember being in youth track. We'd be in the parking lot before, like, hey guys, here's the handoff. Y'all ain't never practiced, but let's go make JOs. Like, it's American way.
Yeah.
It's about chemistry.
Do I have to, Benjamin, what do you mean? Do I have permission to post some tea on Facebook, Natasha? What kind of tea? Well, yeah, but what kind of tea? What do you want to post? All right, we're just gonna take a couple more questions because it's almost 11 p.m. here. Do you still train with Tania Gaylor? I do not, but she's just down the street in Houston. All right, Dennis Jones, I like your take here. Tech is not a sub for hard work, being consistent, etc., etc. This is true. The shoes can only help you so much. The shoe stuff. I think that tea is already out there because I feel like I heard the announcers saying it, that especially for the distance races, that some athletes made the choice to I mean, this is going to be on social media. This is going to be here. So I said what I said. I didn't say anything that isn't true. But yeah. Yeah, if Tokyo cancels this late, then there is no alternative. I don't think they'll cancel. At this point, I
don't think they can cancel. I feel like their country would go into a
Tokyo depression. Yeah.
I feel like it's like two things. Like it's like their mental facilities are at a brink. So if there is an outbreak at the Olympics, their country is going to have a huge problem. But if they pull out the Olympics, their country's going to have a huge economic problem. Like they're just kind of screwed either way if there is an outbreak at the Olympics. Last one, right? How did you stop leaning or pushing on the box? One, I recognized it as a problem. Like I didn't know that was something that I did. So that there was that until I actually was like, oh, let me watch this film. And then the second thing is that I learned to go slow into set. So if you just hop up into set, your body's gonna be like, oh wait, I went past, I'm trying to adjust, But if you go slow into set and you just lock in that position, it's way easier just to hold that position instead of trying to like find it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
All right, Aisha, we're going to take your question as the last one. Are you glad that races at the trials decide your Olympic team and not a selection committee like the USA basketball? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I just said before, I said I am not going to put my fate in someone else's hands. If I'm not going to be on this team, like y'all got to give me this L.
But also, who was the guy that said he felt like he was left home because the Bulls didn't like him?
Oh, I know
The
what you're
dream
talking
team.
about.
He was
The
left
Last
off of
Dance.
the dream team.
Yeah. Or like even NECA Gunake. Like how y'all leaving NECA at home? Team
Right.
USA.
Yeah.
It's just like you could just piss some random person off one day and for the rest of your
Isaiah.
no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like, and I love the fact that the trials, while they a lot of times are harder than Olympics, it's like we have way too much talent to leave it up to like
Got up to some random. Well,
yeah,
not random, but yeah.
and you never know. Like there might be someone who like didn't run all season, but like they've just been grinding, and then they come out and they're gonna go get the gold. Like you never know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
We have this live, gosh.
This live was 2 hours and almost 20 minutes, but I thoroughly enjoyed. I can't wait to do this again. There's still 97 people in here, so y'all must be enjoying it too. Thank you for your support and tuning in. We will be here again sometime next week. We'll talk offline and we'll schedule it a little further in advance so people have their reminders set, etc. But yeah, this was fun. Corey, get your link together so people can
Look, let me just like
subscribe to your channel.
y'all, like this, just give me a second, okay?
Corey said we're gonna call this Track Girl Summer.
And we're also gonna be coming out with a theme song. Me and Natasha are about to get in the booth. I feel like this is a different picture. Did I come for two different men's hairlines? But it looks like your beard, does your beard connect? I think it does, so there's that.
Benjamin said he changed it. I need to go to bed.
Look, I didn't actually change.
I need to go to bed.
God, leave me alone.
This is the perfect note to end it on.
I can't breathe. The power. Honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself. I apologize to that man.
But I don't know him. I don't know this man. I'm so sorry to this man.
In this dancery.
Damon, listen. We love you, and I hope you know that this is all love. And I hope you come back next week.
Yeah. Ooh, I hope he comes back with a new profile picture every time we do a stream. Damon. Damon.
All
Stop it.
right. All right. We're going to end the live. We're going to end the live. Y'all, this was so much fun. Thank you for joining. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. This video is going to be here so you can come back and watch it again. Share it with some other folks. Corey, where can the people find you?
I don't know. At this point, don't try to find me. Look, I'm canceling myself.
Bye.